I did not change my angle. That is bullshit. The game is wrong. I have not touched my console copy of Silent Hill 2 in a while, so I have no idea how debug saving works. There's like a write-up about it on the cutting room floor, I think. All I know is that you have to get on dog ending. For some reason, that's a prerequisite. I also don't know if we ever came to a conclusion about whether or not it was allowed in runs. Because it is a debug feature. Whereas, like, in this version of the game, quick save is just a button that you can bind. But it functions exactly the same way. I think they just enabled the debug feature and just were like, it's PC gaming, innit? Don't turn it off. Even though it fucks up the game in a very similar fashion. This PC port was, in fact, rushed. And I don't say that, like, glibly. I say that because one of the dudes who worked on it literally claimed that it was rushed. And I do not see any reason to disbelieve that. Yeah, not that I necessarily blame the team behind the port either. I get mad at video games a lot, but like the people who made the port were Creature Labs, and they're, you know, competent software developers. Creatures is a good video game. So when they say, oh yeah, this shit was like rushed, we didn't really have time to polish it, I can take that on face value. Behind every bad production, there's a story. Like, no one sets out to make a bad video game or a bad port on purpose. Often, resources, time, and money do not permit. And this is one of the instances where time did not permit a more polished port. They just kind of got it functional, and that was, like, as much as it seems like they were able to do. It does make for a really, like, glitchy fucking speedrun, though, which I guess is, like, a bonus? Because, like, I don't think I'd be interested in running this game if it didn't do this. Oh, you're talking about the HD version, Canary. This is the PC version. It's a different development studio. Like, the HD version was ported by Hijinks Studios, I believe. And that went through a fucking crazy development cycle where they lost source code. They didn't really have the time that they needed, even though it got delayed a whole bunch. And there was apparently also several management issues going on with that project as well, so there was, in fact, just some general purpose nonsense going on. But this is the PC version, whereas the PC version was ported way earlier on, like way earlier, way before the HD collection. It was ported to the PC by a British studio called Creature Labs, most known for their video game Creatures, hence the name. And they make PC games, so like they knew what a PC, they knew how to PC, which is why they got contracted out to do the port. But according to one of the people who has posted around on GitHub lately, when people were poking into the PC version of this game, they were like, oh yeah, the port was like kind of rushed. We didn't really have enough time to polish it. Some of the video files are kind of fucked up because we had to rip them from a retail disc. Like, Konami wanted it out by X time, and like they got what they wanted, so we didn't have time to actually like make it so that the port doesn't do like weird shit sometimes. And it's like, yeah, I believe you. I see no reason to doubt this account. That sounds about right, really, doesn't it? Because they're a confident bunch. This PC port as well, like, it looks better than it looks right now on my stream because I'm running this game at like a very low resolution, so all the rendering is a bit like less smooth than it could be. Whereas you can run this port at HD resolutions. You can even run it in 16:9 if you mod it. And it looks quite nice when you pump the resolution up and everything renders nicely at a smooth 720 with 60 frames. That's nice. Whereas console versions of this game run at 30, whereas the PC version runs at a smooth 60, so like that's all good. Even though the 60 FPS does it. Oh wait, no, actually it doesn't. The PC version does run at 30. You can make it run at 60. You can run it unlocked, but it also fucks the sound effects up like hard. Which is the tell. Silent Hill, I'm thinking Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill 3 is the one that runs at 60. Which is why it looks fucking smooth. Where's this game? This game's 30. On both console and PC. Does it fuck any RNG things up at all? Not really. It's just sound. I mean, it also makes the game more responsive and smoother. So, like, menuing is easier on 60 FPS because it has more frames to poll inputs for. Which, incidentally, is why the mod is banned, but still. Hey, what'll do? See, the way the RNG in this game works, as far as I can tell, is that every so often it pulls for a random number, does a calculation on it, and then generates a puzzle solution based off that. And it generates all of the puzzle solutions for your playthrough as soon as you hit game start. As soon as you hit game start, the random number you have is the random number that will generate your outcomes. And that sounds like it would be manipulable, and I think it probably is, I just haven't worked out how. But the thing is that every single frame shuffles the RNG. It is constantly changing, and it changes in a fashion that it doesn't like linearly increment or anything like that. It changes by take a random number and also multiply it by like itself and then add a thing, and like it scrambles itself over and over again. Like it doesn't produce coherent patterns. Obviously it's a pseudo random number generator, so like there will be patterns eventually over time just due to the way the seeding works. But as far as me manipulating it goes, I haven't really got any great handle on how to get the seed down to something. Is this a fixed version? There is. I have not applied any mods to this version of the game. This is just the base PC version. I'm running it in DXWin so I can run it in windowed mode. That's the only thing that I'm running the game through. And that itself shouldn't really do anything to the graphics. It just makes it run in a box. Because believe it or not, Silent Hill 2 doesn't have a native windowed mode. I have no fucking idea why any PC game thought that windowed mode was optional. No idea. I'm disgusted by the state of my hobby. Good RNG! Holy moly! Oh, what is this camera angle? Oh, that's fine, I guess. I got the key anyway. Can have window mode because they were rushed. A lot of PC ports of that era don't have windowed mode. So hi, Sever. Whatever. Silent Hill 3 has windowed mode. It's also a developed Konami in-house port. What about enemy RNG? I actually have no idea what determines enemy patterns. It shuffles whenever, like, the RNG shuffles every single frame, so, like, it kind of just does whatever it wants. There's really no way to get a handle on that. Yeah, typically made for DOS, so, like, windowed mode was not a thing because there's nothing to window over. So yeah, some games don't have windowed modes at all. Like, typically, like, obviously I excuse DOS games for it, but then every DOS game I ever play, I'm technically running in a window because it's running in DOSBox. God fucking bless DOSBox, by the way. Such a good piece of software. Yeah, whereas, fucking, like, Windows 95 games like Windows 90 whatever games, those things. Some of them don't have window mode options, like, at all. In fact, I've played games as late as fucking Windows XP that do not have windowed options. Deus Ex Human Revolution does not have a windowed option. And I really would like to know what fucking reality these people exist in where that's optional. The lack of a windowed feature will immediately, like, oh, nice glitch, will immediately, like, cause me to, like, blackmark your fucking game if I ever, like, write anything about it. Sonic Generations does not have a windowed mode. That game was released on the fucking 360, and that game does not have a windowed mode on its PC port. That is absolutely horrendous. You have to run it through D3D Wind in order to get that game to run windowed. It doesn't have one natively. Which is fucking insanity. Like, what year is this? Like, that bothers me a lot. I like to run my games in fucking windowed mode. I don't want them needing a whole monitor. They don't need to. I didn't save as much time as I would have liked to with good RNG. Still save time though, I guess. And I get that, like, some people like using full screen. Thing is, I got used to playing in windowed mode because I only had one monitor for the longest time. Now that I have two, I'm much more amicable to using full screen in places because I can use a second monitor. Except some games fuck up using full screen on one monitor, so the second monitor becomes inoperable. Well, I can see on it, but it's kind of like, it tends to... Older games that didn't have a concept of there being multiple monitors don't react very well when run in full screen with a second monitor, and it's like, oh, okay, we're back to the same fucking problem. So now I have to find a way to force that shit to run in windowed because you didn't implement a native option. Yeah, I don't know at what point when it becomes reasonable for me to be mad about this. Some older games don't have it, and I accept they don't have it just because they're old, and Windows is, like, not actually a forever invention. But some games just don't have it. Like, Sonic Generations has no fucking excuse. That is absolutely bullshit. That is just trash porting. Like, that is basic shit. That is basic baby bitch shit. Is a motherfucking windowed option. And that game does not have it. Hey, Zero Blade Edge. It's like, Windows 95 game is always an absolute crapshoot. Like, Dino Crisis 2, that port has windowed mode. Resident Evil 2, for instance, the Source Next port for Windows XP, that port's really fucking weird because it has only windowed mode. It doesn't have full screen. What game doesn't have windowed mode? This one. This game doesn't have windowed mode. And it doesn't really have an excuse. It's, like, not that old. PC porting. Yeah, like, in 2018, if you don't have a windowed mode, what the fuck are you doing? Although I can't say I've played a game that has lacked a windowed mode in time. That also didn't have a reason to lack windowed mode. Like, I played a game called Puss recently. I say it like that because it's stylized as being in all caps. So Puss is the name of the game, always. That game runs exclusively in full screen. And it kind of has to. There's like a gameplay reason for that. It's like, I'm forgiving of that, because like there is an artistic reason for this choice. It's a bit annoying, but like, it still, like, I understand why this is the way that it is. Whereas some games just don't fucking have window mode because they're being an asshole. I know, like, borderless fucking windowed is not an appropriate substitute. Borderless windowed is good, but you need both. I want to actually be able to move the goddamn window. Because my monitor is quite big. And very often, I do not, in fact, need the game eating the entire monitor space. I can put other things on it, like my splits. on my chat. And use the second screen for, like, route notes or something. Like, that's my setup, which is why I like using windowed mode. I can fit more on my screens instead of having one screen eaten exclusively by the game. So I had this problem with Sonic R a while ago, and I was trying to get that to run on Windows 10, which I did eventually succeed with, by the way. Where it doesn't... The version of the... Sonic R has 2 PC ports, right? The good port does have windowed mode, and it works. Brilliant. The bad port, which is unfortunately the faster one, so oops, does not have windowed mode, which means you have to run it in DxWind, but it doesn't really like most of them for some reason, so you have to be very particular about it. And I think I kind of just have to eat shit and run it in run it in full screen, and just have this fucking 360p game eat an entire 104, like, not 100, 1440 fucking resolution monitor. It's a big monitor. And it's stretching a 360p game. It looks absolutely fucking horrendous. But if I ever wanted to run that game again, that would kind of be the setup I'd need to use. Because it just doesn't seem to want to run in windowed mode properly. Would it be 480, 240, or 200p? Probably 240. Like, I said 360, but that's probably wrong. I guess what, chat? It's time for numbers. 6722. It's that time again. Can't save. That's how you know you're in fucking trouble, when you can't save. Time for numbers again. 8885. $8885. Subscribe to our newsletter. Wow. There's actually like a super clean fucking padlock. I agree, Canary. I shoot you with my gun. Oh, he swung, you bitch. Oh, he died anyway. Okay, I guess it's fine. No, but he delay died, because fuck me. No, but it's fine anyway, I suppose. Give me that gold. Hold up. That was solely because the padlock entry was so fast, because I got 8885. It's like, yeah, it turns out you get the same number multiple times. It's actually, you can push buttons quicker. So that's some more RNG there for you, except I rarely ever comment on that one. So a combination that's all four the same? I've never seen it, but I have no reason to believe it's not possible. It randomly generates a number is the thing. Like, there are no... It doesn't pull from, like, a set list of possible codes. I don't really ever... I very rarely see the same number twice. The random generation this game uses is actually quite complex. Like, the way it generates the arsonist puzzle, the blind arsonist, as I discovered in my research, is actually incredibly complicated, but it has no reason to be that complicated. Like, they really went all kinds of extra distance to make sure, you know, like, that these 6 bodies really will be in an absolutely different place and they will never duplicate. Just any of that. Like, it's always distributed in a sensible, logical, layered tree fashion using the seed. With some checksums applied to it to make sure it doesn't, like, duplicate. And some modular operations thrown in there. It's like, why the fuck is it this complicated? It's 1 choose 6. Like, surely there was a less complicated way of implementing this. And the answer is definitely. But the effect they got out of it is actually quite, like, you know, like, it is quite robust. It's just unnecessarily complicated. Same with the number generation. Like, they could have just gone with, oh, this uses 1 of 3 codes, like, say, White Day. Like, White Day is a game that has random number codes, but they always generate as 1 of 3. So if you see, like, 1 of the digits, you can figure out what the other 3 are if you know what the 3 codes are, which is what I do in my run of the game. Silent Hill 2 does not do that. Whoops. Silent Hill 2 fucking generates a code by, like, randomly generating every digit. Ow. Which means, you know, given that it's a 4-digit number that it generates per puzzle, the odds of you being able to guess the correct number are astronomically fucking low. Like, basically 0. One in 10,000. Like, it's also 2 numbers. Another gold. Holy... Okay, that was a good hospital. Had the pause even. The pause didn't count against IGT. Pauses don't count. That's why I was, like, not particularly bothered by it. But the thing is that, like I said earlier, and you may have missed it, but all random number codes and random puzzles are generated the second you hit game start. Which means a task would actually be able to just guess the code. Because they would know. Because they'd be looking. They'd be cheeky. Whereas we as players, we don't know. Even if I could find the value that dictates what the the random code is generating off of, I would have no idea how to translate that into like an actual human readable number. And also, as it turns out, people have, like, you know, done, like, quick load runs of the game where they learn what the numbers are, quick load back to the beginning of the hospital, and then try and rush and input it straight away. Doesn't even work. You have to at least get knocked off the roof. So at best, you could skip going to see the red numbers in the cell. But other than that, no. So you wouldn't even save that much time if you knew the codes. It's patterned, you can usually guess the other numbers if you know the first. That makes sense, but I don't think it's patterned. It does like a modulo operator on a giant fucking number, which, I mean, if you know what the number is, then you can do a modulo operator yourself and get it down like that. Like, that's how the arsonist puzzle is generated. It does a modulo operator on the number. And it distributes based on that. Okay. That was a nice 360 bug of... Because that way it ensures a certain, like, layered distribution of the bodies. Does flashlight affect mobs in this game? A little. On beginner mode, they're less aggressive, so it's less of a problem. But the thing is, you may notice that mobs aren't spawning right now. That's because I have deleted them from the world. Holding the text there, it's too dark to read them out, actually causes enemies to fail to spawn in. That's the reason I had my flashlight turned off. It had nothing to do with enemy aggro. But it does affect it. Like, on normal, you have to pay much more attention to whether or not you turn the flashlight on and off. Because enemies will, in fact, like, turn around and kick you in the head if you had, like, try and run past them with your flashlight on. Whereas on beginner, it's way less of an issue. They don't really care. They're less aggressive. On normal, they're a lot more aggressive. And adjust. I mean, I need to hold the text anyway in order to, like, bypass an event trigger by doing a skip, so I just keep holding the text because it also causes enemies to fail to spawn in the town. Which is convenient for my purposes. Because there's one enemy that I run past that tends to have a habit of hitting me in the fucking face as I run by. If I have my flashlight on. So instead of that, how about I just make it so that he doesn't exist? I made it consistent by deleting it. Exactly, I banished it from my run. It is banned. Banned from my run, banned from my life, banned from my place of residence. My place of residing evil, ha ha! I don't run any Resident Evil games. Actually, I do it. I run 7, I should run more Resident Evil games, though. I don't want to run just horror games, though. It's too narrow a broad. Like, oh, drifting. Yeah, I saved a second there too. This run's actually quite good. Can't wait to not get blind arsonist. That was a juicy sounding clicking noise from my neck there. I apologize for people who find that obnoxious, but Tough. I mean, as in, I don't apologize, actually, but still, like, I acknowledge that there are some people who might find that annoying. I have the front page of speedrun.com open in another tab on a monitor right now, and I can see a cursed run on the front page right now. Doom for Jaguar. Someone's actually ran the Jaguar port of Doom. Cursed. Very cursed. This reminds me when I was looking up speedruns of the first Alone in the Dark game. It's like, oh, it's that classic horror game. Surely someone's done a run of this. And the only run I found was a glitchless run performed on the 3DO. And I was like, how did you even get footage of this? Who owns a 3DO? Did I watch that run? The Alone in the Dark one? I think I watched a bit of it. Maybe? I'm not sure if it actually had video footage. I may have watched someone else play the game at some point. Why did... Oh, I turned my light off because I'm a fucking idiot. And that's time James just stopped for no reason. I gotta stop turning my light off there. It's more trouble than it's worth. Nice camera. Coming out of that cell, the camera seems to want to do one of two things, and what it does will determine whether or not I immediately flip 180 degrees, or whether or not I actually go in the direction I input. You know, the Jaguar port of Doom is actually quite like an interesting piece of Doom history. Because it's the version that most of the Doom console ports are actually based off of. Because it's also the only console port that was actually developed in-house by id, I think. I say, quoting facts from a Stop Skeletons from Fighting video while wearing a Stop Skeletons from Fighting t-shirt. I think there's a Alone in the Dark speedrun with glitch on SDA. I'll have to check that out. I want to see what the glitches are in that game. There's gotta be a few good ones. That game's janky as fuck. Like, one of my favorite Alone in the Dark things, right, is how nothing has an upper limit on it at all. Like, nothing has a limit. Like, you collect health items in that game, right? Like, any survival horror game, but there's no max health limit. At all. So anytime you pick up a health item, you may as well just eat it. Or drink it, I suppose, because it comes in the form of, like, bottles. Yeah, you may as well just use it, like, where you stand. Because health just goes upwards infinitely without limit, seemingly. Whatever the limit is, I never hit it. World record, probably not. Bear in mind that there's still like a 5 in 6 chance this run dies in the middle for no reason, so don't get your hopes up particularly much. I feel like chat gets more attached to my runs than I do. Plus I'm losing time on this split. Just a second though. That's what I get for turning my friggin' light off on the tablet. Maybe I should stop doing that. Ooh, that was good. Yeah, I will have to kill numerous runs on paces like this before I eventually get the one that succeeds. It's a reality of this game's generally sort of RNG driven route. So it ain't a run until like it's pretty much already over. This pace is quite nice though. Like, it is a good pace. I would like it if this one continues. I'm just not banking on it. That's the dying noise. Slip. Dead wife. Oh yeah, my split is still labeled dead wife. I just never changed it because I was too lazy to. Like, when I first started running this game, I had one split, and I just named it Dead Wife. And I never changed it. Right, does this run live or die or not? Let's see. I would quite like it if it did, but I would not be fucking surprised. It'd also be good if he would actually pull the noose. Ooh. Alright, now I have to get the out of bounds. You're being on mobile Twitch. I will pray for you, Ninja Falcon. May your data cap be high, and your mobile provider more understanding. Fuck. Fire the gun. Idiot. Still saved time and got a gold out of it, but still, he just didn't fire the gun. James's brain, like, stopped. Like, my dude, fire the gun. Ugh, wide line up too. Still got a goal out of it, but fuck, dude. Fire the goddamn gun. How the fuck did I lose time on the boat? What the hell? My PB has a bad boat, and that was worse. Okay, that was awkward, but better. Bleh. Right, time to die. Effortless. Weird. Oh, camera. Okay. Come back to me, camera. Ah, missed the door. What's the number? Or the letter, rather? Dose. What, again? Comparable, I suppose. I fucking knew it. Shit. I don't know if that worked. Okay. I think the game is okay. Fucking hell game. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, the game's having a right moment right now. Door! Fuck me. This has been a bit of a shit show towards the end. What happened? The game had a moment. Is the most charitable way I think I can describe what happened. I have no idea why. It, like, dropped my input to fucking accept the music box, so I quick-saved while the dialogue was still active instead of quick-saving while the cutscene was playing. And that could have been quite bad. Because for all I know, the game softlocks if you do that, which apparently it doesn't, so I guess that's lucky. But it still, it kind of confused me, and I probably lost a chunk of time doing that. I hate that turn. The game always fucks up on it. Wow. Yeah, I'm not saving any time on this. That's disappointing. I should have saved time. Fire the gun. 2-shot. That's good. Game, don't do that. Auto aim is a mistake.
Mary?
What do you want, James?
I brought you some flowers.
Flowers? I don't want any damn flowers. Just go home already.
Mary, what are you saying?
Look. Disgusting. I don't deserve flowers.
Local man does not deserve flowers. So that was actually, like, look, whatever. Now, let's get this fucking bread, alright? Let's also get fucking randomly slowed down on a turn. James, why are you slowing? Oh, Jesus Christ. That feels like a 3-shot. No! Wow. $39.21, I think. We have to load the save, so you can see the results. Good. Although you can totally get a 39-1x. I just barely missed it by having a clusterfuck of a hotel ending. But that's quite a good run. Good RNG, reasonably solid execution throughout. I actually got Blind Arsonist on a good pace. I was -8. Hotel was a bit of a giant shitpost, but confident out of bounds, you know? Yeah, good. That's the run I was looking for. That is the run that I was looking for. Yeah, I got good clock as well. Good RNG. And I got good fucking briefcase. Like, the RNG on that run was good. And it shows. And I local recorded it too. Actually, the good any percent run. There you go. That's the run I wanted. That was the run I wanted. There we fucking go, dude. That was the one I wanted. I don't know how well it shows, but I was super fucking nervous going up those stairs at the very end. Like, I put on a face, like I try and act neutral, but my heart was going at like 5 miles an hour there. I try really hard not to have that happen, because then I fuck up when I do that. Like, you choke. I don't think I choked because of nerves on the hotel. I lost time on that because the game went really fucking weird on me. And it still wasn't enough to completely screw me over. I only lost a second. Although I lost a second on a bad hotel, so that kind of hurts. Just barely not quite getting the 39-1x as a result, but still, that's absolutely the sort of run I was looking for.